Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're doing a top 10 purple 5-star countdown. I will do a similar format to the previous one with the blue 5 stars. We'll see how each hero does on offense, defense, Mythic Titan, and events. These rankings are based on how good their special is. So before we get into the video, please, if you like the content, like, subscribe, and comment below. Number 10, we have Ludwig. So Ludwig casts a taunt for 6 turns. He gets 84% defense against special skills, and he charges nearby allies for 6 turns with mana that increases every turn until it becomes 100%. So I remember Ludwig when he first came out, and everyone was chasing him. And then on the second time the portal was there, I think they threw 3 additional heroes, and it was much more difficult to get him. But luckily, he was featured in one of the Soul Exchange events, and a lot of people picked him up. So how does he do on offense? His best use is on offense. And the problem is, he's a slow hero, so he's going to require a lot of tiles. But if you pair him with the right heroes, you can get him charged with less tiles. So one example is Grimble. If you're playing against a minion maker hero and then you get Grimble fired, then he would charge Ludwig. One other way is Snarlfog. Even after the nerf, what you can do is get a 29 magic or Styx troop on Ludwig, charge Snarlfog, and when you charge Snarlfog, Ludwig is going to charge as well. So once he's charged, the match is almost over, because whoever you put next to him is going to charge no matter what their mana is, whether they're slow or fast. I usually get Alphac in the same team, and once I get an Alpha going, it's match over. How about defense? So in defense, I see him a lot still, especially in Rush War. He's pretty much a staple. Now with his second limit break, I see a lot of people using him even in regular wars. And he's actually pretty good. If you don't kill him by the time he charges, you're going to have a very difficult time. And the other thing you have to keep in mind is once he fires off his special and you dispel him, the mana next to him, the one that's put on the nearby enemies, is not dispelled, so you have to have another dispel. Otherwise, they'll keep charging and firing off and killing your team. So he's pretty good in defense. I have reservation about him on defense, to be honest, but he does well. Then on Mythic Titan, he's not good. And lastly, on events, actually it's a split. If some of the events, like the towers, he does very well, because you charge him, and a lot of these towers have it where the special duration is reduced. So, your heroes next to him gets charged up pretty fast. So he's actually good on these events. In other events where you need to score a high score, where people grind, he's not very good. So for that, he gets number 10. At number 9, I have Diao Chan. She's one of the War of Three Kingdom heroes. Fast speed, she recovers 35% health for all allies. She summons minions with 16% HP, and those minions steal buffs. And on top of this, she has the Kingdom Family bonus, where if you put in more of the Three Kingdom heroes, they get increasing mana and health for every minion that's summoned. So on offense is where she's best used. She can act as a dispeller. If anything, she acts as a buff stealer, and she's very good in stealing taunts and other buffs. The only thing about it is it's only 3 minions and it's at random, so you can't target which buffs. But you have a high chance of stealing some buffs. So she's very good at offense, and to top all of this, she heals a good amount at fast speed. And if you have other minion heroes that you can pair her up with, that will increase her mana and health, and will make her fire at a faster speed. So at offense, she's very good. At defense, she's actually pretty good. And at some point, she was the top tank, and everyone was putting her on tank. And she was very annoying because she used to steal all the buffs, all the taunts that you have, and she was hard to kill. Because, we have to remember one thing, that the minions she summons actually boost her mana. It doesn't have to be other heroes' minions that boost her mana. Even her own minions boost her mana and health. So she was very difficult to kill. Obviously now, the meta has shifted and tanks are changed, and we have other tanks that outclasses her, but she's still decent on defenses, and you'll see her still in War of Three Kingdom, because she gives boost to the whole team, the special War of Three Kingdom boosts, that is. On Mythic Titan and events, she's not good, but she's still a decent hero at number 9. At number 8, we have Charon. So he's a member of the Styx family. He has 3 mana charges. The first one boosts your health. The second and third one increases your health along with chance of revival. So it's second charge at 50%, and third charge at 65%, which is the highest in the game. On top of all of this, his passive, which resists defense and elemental defense down. So he's a very survivable hero, especially with his high defense and high HP. On offense is where he's best used. He would increase the health of all your allies and boost their health at 5 tiles. Now they did something that's really good that made him really strong, which is they made the boosted health as the first mana charge, because the second mana charge has the health regeneration over 3 turns, but that does not boost your health. So if his regeneration was in the first mana charge instead of the second one, and his boosted health was in the second mana charge, he wouldn't have been as good as he is now. And on top of this, as I said, he has the highest chance of revival among all heroes. So if you pair him with heroes like Hippo, where you would boost his mana, he would charge on less tiles, and he would revive your allies and makes you more survivable. On defense, he's actually not bad. It's just, as with the other charge heroes, he's unpredictable on when he would fire. I remember when he first came out, on defense he was very strong, and he was hard to kill. But you don't see him as often now on defenses. And then lastly, on Mythic Titan events, he's not that good. Number 7, we have another healer, Hawthorne. So he regenerates 672 boosted health for 4 turns. Also gives moderate amount of mana over 4 turns and reflects all status ailments for 4 turns. And he has the passive where he would drop damage to 1 at a chance of 10%. So Hawthorne, he's good on offense and defense, and especially on Rush War. On offense, where you would face a lot of Alphrags, he would reflect that. Cupido now as well, and Calervo. And on top of this, he boosts health and increases your mana. So overall, on offense, he's very good. On defense, he's still very good. The only issue with him is he does not cleanse the status ailment that you already have. So if you have heroes like Elnada, where she would cast her special and then he would do his special, he would not get the buff. But if he goes off, he's not an easy kill. Now we have a lot of dispellers, so it might be easier than when it was in the past, but he's still a very good hero on defense. On Mythic Titan and events, he's not good. Nyx is at number 6. She's another Styx hero. She has 3 charges. With each charge, she has a different special. So the first one deals damage, about 220%, and gives 30% attack for 3 turns for all allies. The second one deals 360% damage and gives minus 34% defense for 3 turns. And the third one does both at a higher damage, defense down, and attack up. On top of this, as with the other Styx hero, she has the resistance to elemental and defense down, which makes her more survivable. So Nyx is awesome at offense, and that's where her best use is. She deals tons of damage at 5 tiles, and especially if you pair with other charge heroes, they would deal a lot of damage because she would give them attack on top of all of this. So she is an awesome hero in offense. And one thing about her is, I think at some point they gave her a buff, so she became even better than she was before. On defense, I have mixed feeling about her on defense. Sometimes she performs well, and sometimes she doesn't. As with a lot of these charge heroes, you know, if again, I mean, I will say this again. I mean, if they have an option where I can choose if I can charge her or make her fire in the first charge or whenever she wants, or the second charge or third charge, I mean, I think those charge heroes would be better on defense. So you still see her on defense, and I had a period where I put her on defense, but you know, it just is it's a luck of the draw. Let's just say that when it comes to defense. On Mythic Titan, you know, she's not the best used. I mean, you can use her defense down and attack up, but you know, her defense down, we have heroes that have better defense down, and we have heroes that have better attack up. So she might not be the best used, but you can use her if you don't have any alternative. On events, it's kind of the same. She's not the best, but she can be used. At number 5, I have second costume of Obakan. He deals 260% damage to target nearby enemies. He would give your nearby allies and him counterattack 95% for 3 turns. He also regenerates moderate amount of mana for every time you hit him, which diminishes with every hit. The costume Obakan is the best version of Obakan. The other ones are decent, they're not bad, but he is way better. On offense, he would deal a decent amount of damage, especially if you pair him with elemental defense down or defense down, he would deal a good amount of damage. You have to remember that he's a first season hero, and on top of this, he gets his second costume, so if you pair him with other first seasons, on top of his custom bonus, he would deal tons of damage. His attack would go up high along with defense, so he's very tanky. And that comes into the next point, which is on defense. And I think that's the best use of him. And even in top alliances, I see him as tank, and he can get very annoying. And the reason why he's really, really top tier on defense, especially as a tank, is 2 reasons. One, it's because of all the defense buff that he gets from his costume bonus and first season heroes. On top of this, he's a fighter class, so he gets the superior revive, where he would revive, has a higher chance to revive, and gets 50% of mana back. And if he fires off for the first time and he revives, he's going to fire a second time, because if you hit tiles into him, he's going to regenerate a moderate amount of mana on top of the regular regeneration. That he would die, come back, and fires off again. And I swear, every time I play against him, he would revive for some reason. If you have Luena, he would stop this ability, so that would be a good option to go against him. But if you don't, I mean, he would be such a pain if he continues to revive. Now, on Mythic Titan and Event Hero, he's not that good. There are better alternatives to him. So for that, he gets a spot as at number 5. At number 4, we have Bastet. She deals 220% damage to all enemies, and all allies get 45% chance to dodge. With every dodge, you get additional 5% defense. On top of all this, she can deal additional damage with her passive, and her passive can even dispel the last status buff. So Bastet, when she first came out, she immediately replaced Costume Caitlyn. You used to see a lot of Costume Caitlyn because of her dodge, and she gives the same amount of dodge, but she gives more damage. And she is just one of the most annoying heroes that you would face on defense. Now, on offense, she's very good. She deals a good amount of damage, especially when paired with elemental defense down and defense down. She also makes your hero survivable, so she is very good on offense. On defense is where she's best used, and you still see top alliances with Bastet in the flank position, where if she fires off, she's a lot of pain to deal with, and she would give the other enemies chance to charge their special. And if you don't deal with her pretty quick, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Now, on Mythic Titan and events, she is not a good hero. And for that, she gets number 4. At number 3, we have Costume Guardian Panther. He deals 285% damage to all enemies, gives them 34% defense down against Dark, and makes them immune to new status effect for 3 turns. So, Costume Guardian Panther is a top tier hero. As a matter of fact, he is so good that they had to nerf him twice, not only once, twice. So when he first came out, I think his defense or elemental defense down was at 64% or 68%. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 64, but regardless, he was nerfed to a lesser elemental defense down, and then they nerfed him once more to 34%. And they said, well, we're just going to increase his attack percentage. And I think they increased it from 280 to 285, which is negligible. But anyway, on offense, he's still a top tier hero, especially if you pair him with other fast purple heroes, the ones we mentioned. If you have 3 of them, they would still kill a whole team. It used to be with the 68%, it would be a guarantee that you would kill the whole team. But now, if you have some limit broken heroes, second limit broken hero, it would be a little bit. You would not annihilate the whole team, but you would almost kill them all. On defense, he's an awesome hero. He's a top tier hero, and you still see defenses among the top alliance where they have 2 or 3 of them. And when he used to be 68 or 64 defense down, 2 Panthers fires off, and your whole team is dead because the defense gets an attack and defense bonus. So on offense, on defense, he's still really good. And honestly, if his elemental defense down was still at 64, he would be on top of the list, I'll be honest with you. But given that this was nerfed, he's not as good as he was, but he's still very good. On Mythic Titan, he's not the best. There are a lot of elemental defense down that have a higher defense down than him. And on events, again, there are other heroes that outclasses him, but he could be an option if you don't have any other alternatives. At number 2, we have Aramis. He's one of the knight heroes. He deals 375% damage to the target nearby enemies, boosts all allies by 30% of the damage dealt, and all allies are immune to new status effect for 3 turns, and this effect is not dispellable. So Aramis is a top tier hero and hands down one of the best purple heroes. I would say the only downside he has is average, but even that, I think with all of what he does, I think he should not be fast. And if he's fast, that would be too overpowered. On offense, he is a very strong hero, especially if paired with elemental defense down. At like second cost of Demetia, they would take out a whole side, just the two of them. I was pissed off about Aramis when I compare him to Chomper, which, Chomper I have, and he outclasses Chomper by far. His damage is more. Chomper, I think, deals 330% damage, and he heals for the damage he deals, but he does not boost health, and he does not have the status ailment effect. So Aramis also is a top tier on defense, and you see him in top alliances too. And with his second limit break now, where he would heal more, it just makes him even better. On Mythic Titan, he might not be the best. There are better heroes out there. On events, he's actually pretty good. So he can be used in events. So he's really a good hero all around. And for that, he gets number 2. Finally, at number 1, we have Amethyst. Amethyst is one of the ninja heroes. She has a chance to dodge and counterattack if you have at least 2 ninjas. Her special at first mana charge deals 200% damage to all enemies with fiends that deal 59% attack, and this damage along with the fiend attack and health increases with every charge. Now, I was going back and forth on whether I place her at the top versus Aramis, and I think she deserved the top spots for a simple reason. Is that with the right mana troop, she charges at 4 tiles, and a mana charge where she does 200% damage with an attack of 1,000 plus, and placing fiends that deals the damage on every turn is very powerful. If you have a second copy of her along with an elemental defense down, they would take the whole enemy side. Even if you don't have a second Amethyst, if you have a hero like Nyx and a hero like Sergi is at 4-star, gives elemental defense down, so it's very accessible. And just the 2 of them would reduce the enemy's health to less than half. If you pair him with, Nyx and Sergi, they would almost kill, if not kill, most of the enemies. She is so strong that I could not believe that they released her the way they did. On offense, that's where she's best used for all the reasons I mentioned. On defense, as with the other charge heroes, unpredictable. If she charges, it's good. If she doesn't charge, then sucks for you. On Mythic Titan and events, she's not the best. But due to her special, she deserved the number 1 spot. And with that, we conclude with the top 10 purple 5-star heroes. Now, as I said before, these rankings are based on how good their special is rather than how they perform on each of the categories. So let me know if you think other heroes deserve to be higher in the rank, or if you have another list. I had some good suggestions on the previous videos about other lists, and I like some of these suggestions. If you like the video, you like the content, like the video, subscribe, and let me know what you think about it. I'll see you on the next one.